So what we did this week was focusing on renko bars, right? And also yesterday in the evening session, we combined swing trading with day trading using renko bars, yeah? And I will go over that, and we discuss all details, and also how to add the Spartan template to the renko bar chart. Yesterday, some of you said that it was easier to have a clean chart, not seeing anything else except of the 36 EMA in combination with the renko bars. Some said that it's better to have the Spartan template on the renko bar. So I cover both, and you can practice and you figure out which you like best. Okay, now what we did, or what we said for day trading, remember what settings do we use for renko bars? Who remembers what settings do we use on renko bars for day trading, not swing trading? Yeah, the settings are 6 pips per candle, so it's the M6, this one. Okay, that is for day trading. For swing trading, we said we want to use M16, and M16 is a little bit like a chart between the 4-hourly and the daily. Yeah, it depends on the volatility, of course. And the reason we had a question, why did we choose M16, or why did I choose M16, is just very simple, because over the long run I've seen that the setups you get with M16 are a little bit better than M18 or M20, just because I always also get this 1-2-1-2 candle setups more often than I would get it with M20 charts. Not always, but over the long run. Okay, and that's why we like M16 a lot for swing trading, and M6 for scalping or intraday trading. I also used M8 for day trading, so between M6 and M8. Just on M6 again I get more sometimes reversal signals to scalp the market a little bit. Yeah, so M6 right now the best settings, I would say, in M16 for swing trading. Maybe in a year that changes, yeah, but it's really not a problem what you can do if you don't like the settings anymore, because you're expecting some setups like our 1-2-1-2, you don't get them, and just play around and you see it M7 or M8, it looks better, then you just change it a little bit. It won't make a big difference, yeah, but just by testing, I would say M6 and M16 right now are really the best settings to trade swing trading and trade day trading setups. Okay, so first of all, M6, just to make it quick, we have, oops, I have to get rid of some charts, lines here. I do that later on again for you, draw them together. Let me zoom out also. There you can see. So what we did, we I think we already have the video where we talk about the 1-2-1-2, right? And we also have the video where I talk about the basic 1-2-3s over the 36 and the 1-2-3s below the 36. Is that correct? We did that already last week, right? Yes, no? Okay, great. So today it makes things easier. Okay, sorry for that. Okay, to make it easy and quick for everybody, what do we say generally when the price, let me zoom out for that, moves over the 36 EMA, even on the M16 chart, we are looking for swing long trades. Okay, if the chart moves below the 36 EMA and we get lower lows and lower highs and everything, then we are looking for short swing trades. Yeah. Now, if the chart does not give us a new setups, or it's crossing the 36 up and down with no really new setups below or above, then we even find on renko bars a range. Yeah, everybody knows that renko bars are filtering out a range naturally anyway, but if the price does not give us setups under or over the 36, that means that even with renko bars we could have a range, and then it's important that we figure out where the range is starting, so we protect ourselves and don't trade in this area. Yeah? And I will explain all of that now. We just start, I think yesterday we started here, so we do the same thing. We find our 3 touches. Yeah, you can combine everything, the 1, 2, 3s and the bounces with your 3 touches. In this case, we have our 3 touches down here. We also have another 1, 2, 3. So you could say, look, we already had a 1, 2, 3 here, and yes, that's okay. You can also use that 1, 2, 3. I just used this example because we have also our 3 touches, and that would be classic 3 touches bounce trading in combination with a break of the 36 and the price moving higher, and a 1, 2, 3 setup, of course. Yeah, so that's why I use that. This is a lower high. This high is lower than that, but it's an uptrend because we have our 3 touches and therefore also renko bars, and we don't care in that much, so we can the lower high. So we use just a 2 to 3 line break. I zoom in a little bit, and that would be actually that candle, and we would have an entry after the 2 to 3 line break and below here. And when I say below that line, how far below that line would we put our stop on renko bars? Usually when we trade the classic charts, we would put it a little bit lower, and that's it. But with renko bars, we have to be a little bit careful. Where do we put our stop exactly? Who remembers from yesterday? Yeah, exactly. We need to put it 16 pips below that candle plus the spread of this pair, because remember, these are renko bars. Could be that after this candle the price moves down another 10 pips and then moves higher, and you would not see that on the chart, right? So you put it on the M16 chart. This is the swing chart, 16 pips below the price plus the spread, and then in this case you have about what 50 pip stop or something. Yeah, and then you manage this trade when you use the 1, 2, 3 setups over the 36 with or without the trend line touches. Yeah, when you focus on 1, 2, 3s and on a trend, you can manage trades a little bit different on M16, because remember, M16 would be like a higher time frame, like using a 4-hourly chart, and that means you don't get that many false signals. Yeah, and therefore you can manage this trade like you would do with your classic approach and setup. That means first lot about 50 pips, second lot about 100 pips, and or 120 depending on the stop exactly, if it's 50 or 60, and then you could leave the last lot open until your trend line breaks. Yeah, now if you are late, if you enter too late and you already had 1, 2 or 3 1, 2, 3s, you can go again for the first lot 1 to 1, like 50 or 60 pips, and then split the second lot into two parts. So if you have three lots with the same size, you would take out the second lot when you get this second confirmed red candle, because you expect a bigger retracement, you take more profits, and then you leave just the last lot open again. Okay, that's also where you could do it, but that's about it. I wouldn't change the management details too much. And later on you see the price is changing the angle a little bit. I mean, the trend line is going to change here a little bit, the angle, and then like this. And in the end the price breaks, and if you trade your stop, like always, every time the price creates higher points and you take it, sorry, come on, I want to grab that line here. If you start seeing, you know, higher points on the chart and you start trailing your stop later on, at some point it will hit your stop. Okay, and that would mean about another 320 pips for the remaining part of the trade in this example. Is that okay so far? I think yes, right? With swing trading. If I forget anything, if I said something yesterday that I forget today, just remind me, okay? Now, when the price breaks that line, what you also do, you look, what you then do, sorry, you look for what? What do you look for? Just remember. If the trend line breaks in the 36 to the downside, what are you looking for? Come on, we have many people in the room. I want some answers. Exactly, yeah. We want a short setup. A 1, 2, 3 short setup. And we get one. There we go. Now if you compare, remember yesterday, and I want to use this example because it's really good. If you compare the setups, compare this 1, 2, 3 long setup with this short setup, you will see a difference. Yeah, this here is a nice smooth 1, 2, 3 with a big retracement, almost 90%. Yeah, it's more than 50, and you have clean green candles up and also down. Here what you have, the price is moving down quickly, no retracements. That means you don't get a 1, 2, 3 early, yeah, like you saw these 1, 2, 3s up here. You get a really big 1, 2, 3, 1 to 2 point, like a break and a lot of volatility, over 250 pips here, and then you get your retracement to the 36 with about 80 pips. Yeah, that is less than 50%, but it's the first retracement you get back to the 36, and of course you can still use it. The only thing you have to remember is that the price already moved a lot compared to here, where it almost came back to where it started. Yeah, that means you have an entry a little bit later than you would like to have, and that's okay. You still trade it, and if you are not sure about it, what you do, you risk less. Yeah, you just risk a little bit less on your positions. Yeah, exactly. It's a large move and retracement not 50%, but you just remember that you take still the trade, you just risk less if you think it's the chart does not look good or something. Yeah, in this case it's still okay. I mean, it's very volatile, so it's okay. Again, you have your 2 to 3 line break, you have your entry, you need a bigger stop 16 pips above of course the high of that candle plus the spread, then you have your stop there, and in this case it would be like almost 70 pips. Again, the management is the same, 70 for the first lot, 140 general rules. Yeah, if you see major support or something, you can take it out a little bit earlier, but generally, you know, If you have a stop of 70, you'll go for 70 and 140. And also the last lot, like always, the management, you draw your line. If the line breaks and you start trailing your stop from here after you get your new lows, and again here and later on there and there, and you start trading it, you get stopped out at some point and take another 280 pips with a remaining position on this short trend. Yeah, now the good thing we have here is we have the trend line break, the M16, correct, on M16, and let me delete the line, and then you also get a 1 2 3. This again, compared to what we saw here, is very steep. Yeah, remember here you also get at some point your 3 touches. You can then trade the bounces on the 3 touches, basic renko bar trading, shorts here and here, even knowing that the price moved lower. If you get your 3 touches, you can also draw the line a little bit like that. It would count, you know, or if you don't like it, like this. Wherever you get your 3 touches close to the 36, you can go short. But of course, you always remember, the more the price is moving, the bigger the chance that in the end it will break your resistance line and the 36 and do something else. So that happened here, and it's a steep 1 2 3 setup. But what else do you have in combination with that 1 2 3? Yeah, some more answers. You have your 1 2 1 2 setups, remember, on renko bars, right? And that means, of course, also the 36 bounce, the price is bouncing on the 36. You have your 1 2 1 2 setup over the 36, so you have your trend line break. You had a very big trend, suddenly volatility against the trend, a break of the trend line, a steep 1 2 3, price bouncing on the 36, and 1 2 1 2. It can get better than that to confirm a long trade. Yeah, you have a red candle, a green, a red that cannot move lower, and then suddenly you get your another green candle. So again, a stop below here, 16 pips plus spread lower, about, let's say, 45 pips. Price moves up 280 pips immediately with no retracement. Yeah, and 2 lots will be out, and then you start drawing your trend line, and you see in this case the price creates a lower high and it moves lower, and in the end it really also breaks the 36 EMA. Now there's another way to enter a trade combining the M16 and the M6 charts, right? Like, you want to do swing trading, but maybe you don't have enough time, or like always you want to a filter. You don't have to, as I said, but you can do that. And what you do is you can use your M6 chart, and after seeing a 1 2 3 on M16, you can switch to your M6 and look if you get also an M6 entry somewhere. Okay, that is one way to do it, after 1 2 3 or after a trend line break. And we used, for this example, we used again this area where we had the range. Okay. We will talk about the range afterwards. Let's say sorry, you look at the chart somewhere here, you already know that the range is there. You have also drawn trend lines from here, and you start watching when the price is in this area. Yeah, price coming down, hitting on support, it's getting back up again, it's breaking this line. And then two things you can do. The first thing, you wait for another M16 setup like it happened yesterday. Okay, and you take the M16 setup, or after the trend line break, because you had a range on the 36 and this here looks like a wedge and the price came out of here, what you also can do, instead of waiting for the M16 1 2 3, you can do what? Any ideas? Any ideas? What could we do here? Exactly, yeah. We go to the M6 chart and look if we can find an entry there. So for that, we have again to check the date. Yeah, that is, we said July 15 after 7 o'clock. And July 15 after 6, 7. Okay, that was that one. I remember now. We had our also three touches. Look, we have support. That's a good sign. Then you have your trend line coming from here, from M16 actually. Yeah, you have to draw the lines here again because it's not like a time frame change. Yeah, it's a different chart. And then you have a nice 1 2 3 with also a very, very nice and big retracement. You get your 2 to 3 line, you get a green candle and even another one in case you're not happy with the first one. And then you put your stop below 6 pips plus spread. Don't forget that, because this is M6, the M6 chart. And because M16 breaks, okay, and the price is trying to get out of here, and then M6 gives you a 1 2 3 plus 3 touches, this is really a good this is really good news, right? So you take your entry plus the stop below the target. If you have a stop of about, let's measure 6 pips plus spread, so somewhere here. Okay, you have like 25 pips stop, so you go for 25 pips, then price comes back and the angle is a little bit changing here. You draw new lines, you still have to manage the second and third lot, and you got the new 1 2 3 with your higher high and a higher low. And when the price hit the second target, of course, after your higher point, you also start trailing your stop, like always. And at some point, you can, after taking out the second lot, you manage your remaining position on what? On the M16 chart, because this you want to turn into a swing trade, right? You use the M6 to enter, but you actually think in terms of swing trading. Yeah, if you use that entry only to trade on M6, just only for day trading, you just use the information to look for an entry, then it's different. Then you can take out the first lot, you manage your second lot after your second green candle, and you leave half of the position open if you think it's still powerful. Otherwise, you take everything out and forget about the whole thing and look for a new entry after a new bounce. But this is the way to trade, you already know. I was talking about a combination of both. That means using the M6 in combination with M16, like here you had your trend line breaks, you used the M6 charts to enter, and now you manage the last position on M16. Okay, that means you have to start trailing your stop that you have down here after the price creates a new high on the chart. Then you take it from here and bring it and trail it to somewhere there. Okay, that's how you combine that. You can also do that, as we said last time, yesterday, when you trade, for instance, 1 2 3s on M16 charts and the price is out of steam, or you already had 2 or 3 setups and now you're scared to take it on the M16, what you can do is switch back to M6 after you see the price retracing to the 36, and then on M6, that was July 2 and 3, yeah, there we go. You use the M6 chart to look for the entry, yeah, and ignore the 4 hourly, the M16 chart, yeah, which created this big 1, 2, 3 here, yeah, and you would use the M6 1, 2, 3s to enter the trade. Yeah, do you think you're all okay with that? Do you understand what I mean? These are the combinations, and we also said that, as I mentioned before, that you could add the Spartan template on Renko bars because, for instance, you're used to it. I told you that I'm used to my Spartan template, and I always prefer it because I see sometimes a range earlier, or I just see a bounce quicker or whatever. So I'll just do it right now for you. It's really simple. It's the same thing, yeah, you don't change anything, the setups and everything, you just change the EMAs on the chart. And the helpful thing here is that when you see all the EMAs are moving away from each other, then you know you have a big trend. It's easier to decide when to take trades. Look, you have bounces here, and then the angle is changing, it's getting bigger, you get your 1, 2, 3s. It's easy for you, it's easy for you to decide when to take a trade, right? And even if it's breaking, when it's breaking, it's bounce on the 200, look, buy the pip, retracing to the 36, and then moving lower. Also the EMAs, there is room and space between all the EMAs, yeah, and even on the longs here you have still a lot of space, yeah, before it's reaching the 206.33. And now it becomes interesting. Remember what we said yesterday, when you trade the Renko bars, you are long, and suddenly maybe you are out of the long here when it hits your stop, or you maybe hedged up a position and went also short because you found on M6 maybe a 1-2-1 setup or another 1-2-3 against the main trend. You see the price is moving at that point here like 160 pips away from the 200 on M16, and on M6 you might get a short setup and you want to hedge it to take advantage of the bigger retracement. Remember, you can do that as well, okay? But what you will see when the price is reaching this area using the Spartan template is that all the EMAs, the 633, the 200, the 36, the 12, they're getting really close together. And I mean not like close at the same point, but they are a little bit, you know, the 200 is here, a little bit lower, the 633, the 36. So that means usually that the price could bounce very quickly in this area and move higher, or it could do what? Before you see that, yeah, when the price is reaching this area, you always assume that when the EMAs get together like that, what do you expect? What could happen? Or what usually happens? Who remembers? Just think in terms of the classic Spartan setup. Yeah, you see exactly, you see the range. And when that happens, for instance, here we get a 1, 2, 3 too short if you use just Renko bars and the 36. But if you have the Spartan template on, you will see also the 633 below, the 200 is there, and then a lot of the 36 and everything else. So that is telling me that a short here, even using Renko bars, can be a little bit aggressive, correct? I'm not saying you cannot do it, but the EMAs on the chart are warning you. Now you have your sandwich there, as you said, Jason, and it is probably better to wait for setup below here or over there. Yeah, so let's say you took the short anyway, saying that, okay, renko+ is volatile, I don't care, it will probably break everything. Okay, could happen. Yeah, and then what happens? You get stopped out. And if you get stopped out, that's okay, it's just one trade. But now you start thinking, okay, you really have to be smart and say, okay, the price bounced on the 633, it moved also quite a bit, maybe wants to give me now a 1 2 3, maybe wants to bounce here and give me a 1 2 3 to go long. This is what you are expecting, and then the price does not stop here at the 36 or 200 and you don't get a signal. Yeah, and that is then for sure the second sign for a potential range. Then the price crosses the 200, bounces on the 12 exactly where you saw your previous renko+ support touch, and then you have a line, you have kind of a double bottom plus the 633 and no setup. And then the price moves up and it does not stop at the 200 and does not move lower, and it's crossing again, and you see you get the crossovers all the time. And then the EMAs in terms of setups are of no use, but they are of use when it comes to identifying the range. Yeah, so this didn't work, you assume that the price maybe does the opposite thing. It doesn't do it, so then you start assuming a range. Then what you then do after seeing the double bottom, you start finding resistance. If you don't have a double top there, you start connecting the lines you have. It would look like that. And after you see the price moving lower, you can find the third touch, and in this case you can start drawing the line from here, extend it, and it will end up here. Yeah? And then you clearly can see, even now that it's bouncing the third time on this 36, on the 633, then you can actually really see that wedge here, yeah, and the range between these areas. And that's why you have to stay out and wait for setup after the line breaks here or here. Yeah, so expect this or this. This, exactly, that's your sandwich stuff, and also a wedge. And this is how you protect yourself from trading renko+ in a range. This won't happen often, but it will happen. And if that happens on M16, you want to avoid trading there. You can still trade the bounces and look for M6 setups to trade the range, but only if it makes sense, if you have a big enough buffer. Yeah. Other than that, you wait for the price to come out of there, and then you have a much bigger chance to make good profits. And if you do it correctly, you can't imagine how many times you get really good trades. Yeah. I think what happened? Zoran, we were talking yesterday in our one-to-one sessions about your trades. So you took a lot of combinations, yeah, like higher time frames with 5-minute charts. That has nothing to do exactly with renko+, but it's a little bit like that. Yeah, it's a little bit like combining M16 with M6, even knowing that M6 is more, it's not a 5-minute chart. Yeah, it's actually more a half-hourly or 1-hourly chart, but the way you combine things are the same. Yeah, 1 2 3s and then going to M6 or M16, or the 4-hourly chart or 1-hourly chart in combination with a 5-minute for an entry. Yeah, and as I said, it's all about practicing, and Zoran was a good example for lately practicing a lot, combining higher and lower time frames, and the results were really good, so well done. And also it's, as I said, it's it's really your choice. Yeah, you don't have to combine anything. Yeah, you don't have to combine M16 and M6. It works well like this also. It is just that personally I come from the top-down approach background. I do that for many years, and it's kind of in my blood, and then I cannot trade if I don't do my top-down approach using weekly, daily, 4-hourly, 1-hourly charts. So I do kind of the same with Renko bars. I look at M16 and then I go to M6. Yeah, and even if I want to do day trading, I still do the top-down approach using M16 charts. Yeah, so keep in mind and just practice everything. That makes it really easy. Okay, an example for hedging Renko bars. Okay, first of all, when do we hedge? Why do we hedge? Give me a reason. Anybody? Yeah, there we go. When, as you said already, no idea is also an answer. Okay. Yeah, when we are in good profits and the last lot is running, that's correct. Yeah, so when the price is moving in one direction and we have taken out the first and second lot, it's a swing trade and it's just going and going. At some point you say, okay, the price is, for instance, far away from the 36, like here, about 130 pips, or I've made so much profits already with the last lot. Now I don't want to give it back, so I try to take advantage of a retracement, and if the price bounces again, I get rid of my longs and then I keep the shorts. That's the idea, to milk the market on the retracement as well. That's one reason. The second reason to hedge up would be still having the last lot open, but entered a little bit late, like not up here, but somewhere maybe down here or here, where you say, okay, I entered here, it was late on the M16, I took an entry on the M6, but now I'm scared and I'm expecting a bigger retracement, so I don't want to give it all back. Okay, so what I do, I hedge to take advantage of a bigger retracement, and as I said, if the price bounces and moves lower, I get rid of my longs and I keep the shorts. If it does not, I keep both position because it's hedged up. It's like it's safe with about more or less 40-50 pips depending on where your entry was on the long. Yeah, and if the price makes a long setup, I get rid of the short instead, right? So here, let's say you had an entry from here, you have a remaining position, or you had an entry late and you have a remaining position. What you do, you switch to your M6 chart, always to the lower setting, find the date, and that here is your, what is this, July 9. Yeah, that's where the lowest point is. Okay, what happened? The price moved higher and got you this 1, 2, 3 setup. Okay, and that was like 128 something. If you check back, somewhere here was the entry, yeah, the long entry, and the price did not bounce here. In this case, it moved up about 120 pips, retraced, but now it was over the 36, as we said, over the trend line. You had to 1, 2, 1, 2. Now you had long setups. So what you do, you keep your long at that point and get rid of the short. And the distance between wherever you have it, yeah, let's say a reasonable entry here or somewhere, at that point is hedged up with 150 pips. And the price now went against you 120 pips. It doesn't matter. It's hedged up with 150. And at that point, you get just rid of your short. You still make your 150 pips, right? Because it's hedged up. It's safe. and then you keep the long, and at this point, because you get also your new setup, the long setup and the confirmation with your 1 2 1 2 and the 1 2 3 and everything, you can reinstate. That means you can add 2 more positions to the existing long and start managing it as longs. Okay, that was a good example. Do you all understand that? Yeah, first of all, you hedge your position if you're already in profit. That means for the last lot. And if you expect a bigger retracement after a bigger move like this, for instance, and if the price bounces, you get rid of the long and leave the short running. And then the short starts making profits again. If not, if you get a long setup, you get rid of the short and let the long run or reinstate it. You still how to say, have your profits safe. Yeah, you kind of because you hedged it up, you kept it safe there. Yeah, that's how you do that. Now, to do it, it's good to see on the chart, but you have to practice it live to make it work also. Yeah, it's good to look back on history, but you should really practice a lot so you can also feel it, not only see it on the chart. Okay, let me record this example as well. So you have a trend line break, you have 3 touches, you have your 36 EMA, 1 2 3, a 2 to 3 line break and a red candle. And if you would use the basic template with the 36 EMA, you have a stop of about 20 pips plus the spread, and price is moving lower. Then you also get Can everybody hear me? I think it's okay now. Yeah, yeah, as you said, it was freezing there. Okay, I can just continue. That was the chart. I don't know what happened. And then you get your another 1 2 3, and now you have your 200 EMA. You have your 1 2 3. You also get your 1 2 1 2 the other way around, and it's a confirmation with your 1 2 3 actually, which is a good sign. Price moves lower. At some point it creates that higher low, but it doesn't really move higher. You see that could be a range, and then you get another lower part under 1 2 3. You also know that it's probably ranging, but even if you take the short, as I said, you will get stopped out. Then you have your highest points on the chart at that point 3 times, down here already 3 times, and you start extending the line from here. You will see it looks like this, and afterwards you see the price always bounced in this area. Yeah, so you could actually aggressively take the bounce trades, yeah, by every time it's bouncing on support, the green candle, on resistance, the red, to make some profits. But you would not look for new setups in terms of 1 2 3s until the price comes out of here or here. And if you don't get 1 2 3s, okay, you don't get a trade, but you at least identify the range quickly.